Hi. As always, I feel like anytime I always post a video, I'm always like, hey, it's been a while, and that's because it has. But major update since I think my last video was a vlog. Okay, so this is my update. Your girl got engaged back in, oh my gosh, back in July, and it's already October. July, August, September. It's been 3 months. Oh my gosh. Whoa. So that's my update. Is Joe proposed back in July. So I'll post some pictures, but I know a lot of people have asked how he did it. So I feel like I'll do like a little deep dive. I have like a shorter version of my TikTok, but if anyone was curious, I'll tell you right now. So basically, he was actually planning to propose back in June when both of his parents were here. I think it was like Father's Day weekend is when he was planning to propose, but we got COVID. So it had to be postponed. So that was the original date, and then we got sick, and then he had picked another date, but I decided to work a wedding that Friday, so then it had to be postponed again to the date that he actually proposed to, which was July 17, I believe. So there's that backstory, and basically how the day rolled out was he had planned for like all of, I think there was like maybe 17 of us. So my parents were there, his mom was there, all of our really good friends. There was probably like 17 people total that he was trying to like coordinate and trying to reschedule this whole proposal thing around. So basically, I think it was a Sunday. And I remember I did all my like usual Sunday things where I went to the farmer's market. I went to Irvine Spectrum, and I remember his mom, because we spent the day together, was like, oh, let's get our nails done. And I honestly didn't think anything of it. I honestly had no inkling that he was gonna propose, like, at all. And at the time, like, my nails weren't hideous, although I have been guilty of like really growing them out. They weren't that bad, but the running joke is I had gotten my nails done a couple of weeks earlier when he was originally gonna propose, because his cousins were in town, and I got this like melon color, and I decided to get a square shape. And then Joe was like, your nails look like a Cheez-It. So I had Cheez-It nails. Anyways, we were at the mall, and she was trying to convince me to get my nails, but I just wasn't in the mood to get my nails done that day. So I didn't. But now I know why everyone was, and the week before, everyone was being so mean to me about my Cheez-It nails. I was like, why is everyone being aggressive? So anyways, after that, we had dinner plans with some of our good friends that we were planning to go to that night. So later in that evening, we had gotten ready, and Joe was like, oh, I think this place is kind of like a nicer restaurant, so kind of dress up. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, like no problem. Again, didn't think anything of that. So we got ready, and the place where we were gonna have dinner was in Costa Mesa. And I had told Joe, because I was like on this like house kick, I was like, hey, can we stop by IKEA? Because I want to buy some Tupperware, because where we were going was close by. So we left a little bit early, and then we went to IKEA, and I was so excited to be at IKEA because I saw a TikTok on Emily Marico's TikTok that she had this like new like Tupper glassware with like these wood lids, so I found them and I was super excited. So we're just like shopping at IKEA. I'm vibing out. We're trying to kill time for dinner that for dinner with our friends that we were supposed to meet. So then we're in line to pay, and then we get a text from them and they're like, hey, like we got like a flat tire, we're gonna be late, blah, 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 blah. I, again, didn't think anything of it. I was like, oh, should we go like help them, blah, 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 blah. But they were like, no, we're fine, we'll just be an hour late. Okay, cool. Again, didn't think anything of it. So we pay, and we're still pretty early since we're waiting for our friends who had a flat tire. So then we're like, okay, what should we do to kill time? And I had wanted to go like get a drink, do whatever. Joe was like, hey, let's go look at some like houses at Costa Mesa because we, you know, are thinking about buying a house. So he finally, in the car, he mentions, hey, it's been a while since I've posted an Instagram photo. I know of a spot, can we go take a photo? And I, again, was like, yeah, sure. Like, I didn't think, literally, I had zero suspicion. So he drives to the spot that we've actually been to before. It's a place that we've hiked at. And when we get there, I'm like, oh, are we, because it's like a trail. And I said, oh, is the spot far? Because I'm like in heels. And he was like, no. And I was like, at the time I was like, oh my gosh, like this is kind of like a dirt path. I hope it's not far. Anyways, so I get out of the car, and it's funny because it was like it was like sunset time, and I jokingly said like, oh, you're gonna ask me to be your girlfriend? So then I like walk along this like path and just walking, and then finally like I see towards the end of the path there's like florals and candles. And in my head, I don't know if I actually said this, but in my head I was like, oh my gosh, something's happening. I think someone's gonna get proposed to. We should probably go. And then I realized I saw my good friend Crystal, who's a photographer, at the end taking photos. And then I was like, oh shit. Hey, Crystal. And in my head, I was like, Crystal, what are you doing here? And then as I got closer, I was like, hey, wait, those are my candles. And then as I got closer, I recognized the floral work. It's from I Do Flowers from Jessica, who we use all the time. I can recognize her stuff like a mile away. So as we got closer, and as I started to connect the, you know, all the pieces to the puzzles, I was like, oh my God, could this be? So we hit the end, and then, you know, he says all of the right things and is like super sweet. I'm literally shocked, like utterly shocked. Didn't know what to do with myself. So then he like pops a question, gets down on one knee, and then behind the bushes are all of our family and friends, and it was a whole moment. And then they came and, you know, celebrated. We popped some champagne, we took photos. It was a whole thing, and it was lovely and wonderful. I was extremely surprised. And then after that, we went to North Italia, which is where we had our first date. And we had dinner with everyone there, and it was just so, like, it was kind of perfect because our first date was at North Italia, so that's where we had dinner. But our second date was actually at IKEA, and that's where we were at before. So it was just kind of like serendipitous. Also, because we had dinner at North Italia, and we're getting married in Italy, so it was just perfect. So that is the story of how I got engaged, and yeah, I'm super excited to just be on the other side. It's kind of strange. I'm not used to it yet, but yeah, so that's that story. Another thing people ask me is about the ring and how we went about that. So I had actually gone ring shopping with my best friend Zari when we went wedding dress shopping for her last year. So after we went dress shopping, we went to a jewelry store called Princess Diamonds, and we tried on rings, and I tried on this exact one that he got, and I like loved it. I knew right away. I've always known that I wanted this kind of ring. So I like got all of the specs, and then I got her card and wrote it down, and then basically when I got home, I told Joe, I said, okay, whenever you're ready, just call this number. And then he called the number and got the most perfect, wonderful rating. So that is the story on that. A couple other FAQs that I always get is if I'm planning my own wedding, I'll probably plan like a good majority of it, but I will get like a coordinator out there. We did book our venues, but I'll do a separate video on like I'll do like a wedding planning series. But yeah, that's probably the biggest question that I get. And we're getting married next year, September of 2023. Yeah, it's gonna be a destination. I'm super excited. A lot of people ask why I'm doing a destination wedding, and I have just always wanted to do one. This has just been something I've wanted since I was like a little girl, so this isn't like shocking to me. I think if you know me really well, you know that this has always been the plan. And also just because I'm a wedding planner, I want to get married at a venue that like I've never worked at before, because I feel like sometimes when I go to events, especially at venues that I've been to, I kind of know the ins and the outs, and I don't want to know the ins and the outs. So there. Well, that is my update. But yeah, I'm super excited. I'm gonna do my best to try to vlog all of this, you know, for the memes. So that concludes episode 1 of my series of Abby, the wedding planner, being engaged and planning her wedding. So that's all for now. I will see you guys at the next one. Bye.